This is As You Are. My name is Akazi. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening today. I am going to speak on boundaries today and like self-worth. Um, this is something that I, over the years, have really struggled with in terms of my relationships and people and being in an industry that is nothing but like psychology and people based and so let's dive right into it because boundaries are really interesting and I have a few instances where I have not set boundaries and definitely paid the price for it, and kind of what I've learned along the way. And I know that it's ever evolving. That's why this podcast is called As You Are, because where I am today is most likely not going to be where I am at in a year or 2 years or 3 years or 10. So this is just part of the journey. So boundaries. Hard one to do, especially when you are a very big lover and have a huge heart and want to see people do well and want to see people do good. And setting them sometimes is incredibly scary because I also, growing up had abandonment issues, and my abandonment issues were not allowing me to let people go, or like this idea of everybody leaves my life, which I now, like, after doing a lot of work on that idea, that storyline of everybody leaves my life, I've now worked on changing that to who is supposed to be in my life is meant for me, and God is clearing out the rest. People who are not pure of intention for me will, on their own, kind of exit. And I think that just changing that perspective has it's really helped a lot because it's really true. Like, some people along the way, just like they're not for you anymore, and like that's totally okay. Because like I really try to stay pure in my intention with people. I really try to stay pure in heart, and I don't feel like I switch up on people. I really don't. And if I do, like, I feel like I have enough friends, and I've put the time and the effort and the work into the people around me to make sure that if I go off the deep end or become like a fucking crazy asshole, I have people that will literally whip me back into shape and pull me back down to earth. It's like, it's not an issue. And I've done that on purpose. I've done it completely on purpose. So, boundaries. Tough one to learn over the years. In the past, I used to let people just really have whatever. I would like give and give and give and give and give until my cup was completely empty, and then I'd be pissed the fuck off when these people would just dip out on me because it hurts. And I think when you're a giver, just naturally in life, you have to learn how to hold back a lot, because not everybody is like worth what you have to offer. Like, they're really just not, and that's okay. It's more about sharpening the skills of like learning who deserves what you have to give and who doesn't. And a lot of people, I feel like, in life that come along, like, really don't deserve everything that you have to give. And you sure as hell absolutely should never sacrifice yourself for someone else like that. Like, and that's been a really big, hard thing to learn. I've learned that one the hard way multiple times over. And, like, biggest example that I can give that was recent is with my last relationship. And, like, there's certain like boundary lines that I've had to set because of my ex's behavior and his like his choices on how he chose to treat me. And like, biggest things, it is a huge boundary of mine that, like, if I confide in you about something and you turn around and use it against me, oh, baby, we are done. There's no way. There's no way. Because emotionally, as a friend and as somebody that is going to be around or in my life or have details on me in my life, I'm trusting you with information. And if you can turn around and use that same information against me, and I'll use this, I'll be specific here. My last conversation with my ex was very like, so after I hit the wall and had an ER visit, I went and found him because I wanted his help. And he, he was nice about things, and like, there was still the same bullshit. I saw a lot of still the same bullshit. So I, was trying to push up my boundaries a little bit more with that. But the last conversation we had, I had asked him if he was still, speaking to other women, and his response to that was, "You're controlling. You asking me that is controlling, and I'm not gonna like, stop talking to who I want while I'm alone, right? Fine, totally okay. I, as a woman and that has been in your life, that you have slept with, that you have said, take my seat, just bullshit too. Like, that's bullshit. Oh, are we growing old together? Literally said that at a dinner. And then to turn around and be like, don't control me, don't do all these things. I literally was never controlling my ex, to be fair. This is what I had said to him. Because one of the biggest issues that we had in our actual relationship when we were together was that he couldn't stop talking to other girls. And he was a wanderer. And so, his justification is, I never slept with any of them. I'm sorry, but if you're leading anybody on to make you think that there's any sort of romantic thing possible at any point, you're not being fucking faithful. It's just the fucking truth. And that was also part of my worth of like, I let a lot of that slide. I didn't set boundaries with that. And like that, know your fucking worth, because no woman ever fucking deserves to have a man in their life that is just like constantly disrespecting them and disrespecting their heart, their feelings, who they are. Like, women, like, come on. I know it's hard because it's like we love, but like, nope, not cool. So I had asked him if he was still, and in the past, I never changed this. I never changed this philosophy. I was like, if you're going to talk to other people, I won't be around. It's just not, like, that's my boundary. That's a boundary. It's not a controlling tactic. It's a boundary. And not one that I'm willing to budge on ever with anybody. I'm just not. Like, after experiencing what I did with my ex and being on and off and on and off and on and off and bringing another girl in, or just like break up with me to go talk to somebody else, like, fuck that. Fuck that. I will never stoop down to that level. You don't like my boundaries? Then I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I honestly don't. Like, if you don't like them, keep it moving. Keep it moving, because I'm not going to come down to your level. I just won't. I don't have it in me as a woman to come down to your fucking little boy level. It just doesn't happen. And like other things in like the music industry that I'm in, like 9 times out of 10, like, it's just like people, they want to take credit for your work. They want to fucking take off with things, or just use what you've done to like fucking say that it's theirs. And like, I've had to set so many fucking boundaries with people, and it makes me mad, because I'm like, why? Like, why do I have to be so extra, like, me? Because it's hard for me. It's fucking hard. It's not an easy thing for me to consciously do all the time. It's like, oh, that, because it fucking turns into trust issues with everybody. And then I'm over here like thinking about every little thing somebody will do. Like, and I've learned with people, like, they really tell you their true intentions. Like, they really do right up front. They will tell you everything that they are thinking out loud. And I think, I can't remember who said it. But it was like one of the laws of power or something like that was like, you say less than necessary. And like, if you don't really like talk as much, people will reveal what they think and what their intentions are, and they will do it in a way that if you just fucking sit back and listen, you will see all of it. And one of the things in the past that I did not do a good job of was like believing immediately what someone was saying to me. Because like people tell on themselves all the time. They tell on themselves. And I, being fucking kind-hearted and like, oh no, like that's not what they really mean. There's a good person there. There's like potential there. Fuck that. Fuck the potential, man. Like, the potential always fucking gets me. It always fucking gets me with people. I'm like, oh, you have potential to be such a great person and such a great thing with this and na. And like, I get it. Everybody's on their own fucking journey. Everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody's learning at their own pace. Everybody's trying to get to different, destinations. And then when they get to those destinations, then they have to learn other things. Like, I get it. Everybody has their own fucking path, their own learning journeys, their own whatever. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about that. Like, my learning journey has not been super, super easy. Because I I really try to approach everything from a pure place. I try to stay in that pure place, and I've had to learn that like some people, man, they will try their best to pull you out of your pureness. They will do their best to try to pull you out of like just who you are. They try to poke at your character to try to get you into a space that doesn't feel good for you. And that's a lot of times in the past, like I just allowed it. And like, not cool. Like that is like when people try to pull you out of like who you truly are, or, try to take things from you, or just try to like project their own pains onto you and stuff like that, is like, that's it. My biggest thing too is like when you confide in people and then they use that information against you, man, that one's hard for me. That one is hard for me. And again, like my most recent thing that I can even think of is my ex and me telling him, I went to get help with him because I was like, I didn't want to, I honestly, truly thought that my ex would be somebody that would be able to, just him knowing everything that I've been through. I honestly thought that he would never like do some of the same things to me, or just repeat some of the same things that I had already been through that I'd confided in him about, and it's the same with friends. Like I've had friends who are like, I'll confide in them about certain things and then they'll turn around and fucking do the same goddamn things. And I don't understand that. Because when people confide in me about things, I try my best to make sure that I never let them feel the way someone else has made them feel, or like what their trauma and their pain has been through. Like I really honestly do my best to make sure that like if someone's around me, like I had a friend who was in a car accident, really, really horrible one. Like it is a fucking miracle she's still here. And like me knowing that information about her life, like there's like a responsibility there, man. It's like, I know that you've been through some really, really hard fucking things. So when you're around me, like, I would go out of my way to make sure, like, okay, drive really slow, be super extra cautious, communicate that you're trying to be cautious to her so she feels at ease. Like, let her know, like, like when you're around me, I'm going to do my best. Because there was still an anxiety there. There was still a like fear of being in the car, which is totally fucking justifiable. It's justifiable. And like, there's things like, if I was a nasty person, I wouldn't even give a fuck. I'd be like, just get in the car. Like, you're overreacting. Stop fucking overreacting. No, that's not how that works. Like when you fucking meet death and then come back and are like, yeah, you're justifiable to fucking have an issue with the car. Like, that's okay. And there's just like some people like along the way that like have used things that I have confided in them against me, and that doesn't show me that you're an actual friend. That shows me that you are actually quite the fucking opposite. And yeah, my I think my boundaries with people and especially friends, it's like um man, like I've had a few exes of mine try to friend zone me after we've broken up and try to just be like, "Well, we're just friends and all this stuff." And I'm like, "No. Sorry. No. Mm-mm. You're not going to degrade me. You're not going to like put me in a box so you can go do whatever you want." Like, mm-mm. Nope. Sorry. You've asked me certain very personal things. You met my family. You've done certain things with me that I literally would be like playing a joke on my fucking self if I ever let you just throw me in the friend zone. Like, where the fuck is the worth in that? Like, fuck that. And you know what? And it's sad because like dudes really fucking try it. I really feel like I still have yet to meet a dude that's like a man. And I'm not talking about like financially and like fucking like, oh, I can build things and I can fucking buy things. Like, that's not what I fucking mean. Because to me, it's like anybody can fucking make money. Truly. Anybody can fucking make money. Um, it's more so about like the character of a man that I have yet to come into somebody who is really, really, really just pure in their fucking character and mature in their character. And I think honestly, it's my fault because I have dated people my age, and I did all of that because I didn't want to carry abandonment and trust issues with men and like all these things that I had to work through from my childhood. Like, I didn't want to be the girl that was like, oh, I have dad issues, and so I'm gonna date a 60-year-old, and like that's my dad. Like, no, like I was aware that that's like very much a possibility, and I didn't want to do that. So it's like, well, let me try dudes my age. But then at the same fucking time, like I'm way older mentally than most of the people my age. And it is a big disconnect. I'm sorry, but I have been through way more than most of my peers. I've lived a lot more of like hardships in life than most of my fucking peers. And it makes friendships hard. It makes dating hard. There's just a different depth that I have. And I'm aware of it. And like, it's not anybody's fault. It's just, it kind of is what it fucking is. And like, there's not much I can do about it because I can't fucking get other people to understand like certain things until God is ready to fucking teach it to them. That's just, it is what it is. Like, I can't be that person. And that's also been a boundary for myself. And that's a big part of understanding my worth is like, their shortcomings, their insecurities, their shit is not mine to carry. It's not mine. And that goes with anybody. Like, it's not even just exes or friends. It's like family too. Like, I've been the one to open up the conversation about generational trauma in my family. And I had to navigate it 4 years ago on my own. Like, I didn't have, mom and dad to talk to about all these issues that I was like healing from or like that were coming up and resurfacing. Like, I didn't have them to go to for that. Like, I, kind of turned around and taught some of that and have been teaching some of that back to my parents. And it's interesting because it's like, the work that I've done, I can see now in my family that like they're starting to have these conversations, and but at the same time, it's like when certain people are not where they're at in their journey and their healing journey, it's like I have to now also set boundaries because I'm not in the same spaces that they were or that they are. Like, the whole point is, yes, to see it and acknowledge it and heal it, and then it's to move on. And a lot of the stuff that I have had to heal from, I feel like I've moved on from. This year has definitely like thrown me a few wrenches, and I'm still healing from some of the stuff that has happened this year. But for the most part, like a lot of things in my past, I don't feel hold me, which is great. Because like where I'm going, like I've always known like I needed to heal because what I'm here to do and where I'm going, like it's going to require a lot of boundaries and a lot of self-worth and a lot of just being diligent about who the fuck I am. And I love who the fuck I am, man. Like, yeah, I may not be rich yet, and I may not like have fucking plaques along my wall and, you know, all these fucking accolades and all these goddamn whatever. Like, I like who the fuck I am. I am fucking tough. I am fucking beautiful. I am intelligent beyond like my fucking years, like a god, like what the fuck. I have wisdom. I'm talented as shit. I can do so many different things. Yeah, there's a lot about me that's like I honestly would say character wise, solid 10. Solid 10, and I'm not even going to like come back from that because I know I put in the work on myself to be a really good person. And not even just like a good person to like people and stuff, but also like a good person to myself. And this journey, you know, of really understanding my worth, and coming back to like, you know, what I actually deserve, like setting boundaries for myself and then like sticking to them, that has been a learning experience. And like I said, because I had a lot of trauma in my past and a lot of things I let slide because I wanted love. I wanted to feel love. I wanted to, you know, be in a space where people could really, you know, like I gave way too fucking much, way too much. And then I paid the price for it, which is fucking wild because, you know, I think if someone constantly gave to me in the ways that I gave to them, like I don't think I would take it for granted. But at the same time, I never know. And when you go through a lot of shit that's really difficult, and you're not aware of your issues when you're younger, you don't really know how to like separate, you know? So boundaries, yeah. Really, really like interesting to learn how to do. And it's like balancing setting boundaries with people, setting emotional boundaries, setting boundaries around your heart, setting boundaries with family, setting boundaries with all types of things. Like even just too, like, you know, I just had an incident in my family where, you know, someone in my family did not do something very, very smart. And in turn, now he will be paying a very big price for it. And my family calls me and is like, hey, you know, this happened and, you know, they really want to speak with you. And because of what had happened, and I'm not going to give you guys details because really it's nobody's fucking business. But what I will say is I, as a woman, for the situation that this family member had done, I, as a woman, like, will not allow that person to be a part of my journey. Like, not right now. There's no way. There's no way. Like, you can't do certain things and have certain behaviors as a man and then turn around and expect people just because we're family to support you, even though you're really fucking up. Like, I have had to take the responsibility upon myself to heal and change and with no direction, figure out my shit from the past. And I feel like I have done a very, very, very good fucking job. It has been lonely. It has been isolating. It has been a lot of fucking tears. But I have done a really, really, really good job of not becoming something really fucked up because of where I came from. And I know I still got ways to go. Like I'm still not where I want to be. But I actively now internally can wake up every day and know where my fucking limits are with people. And I don't apologize for that. Like I really don't, because One of the beautiful things about my family being so discombobulated as a kid is like, I now don't care as much about what my family thinks. I don't really care about, the opinions. I don't really care. Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and there's a freedom in that because um, there's a massive freedom in that. And I wouldn't like when I was younger, like a lot of it was really painful and stuff. But like now into my adulthood and like seeing where I'm at now with certain things, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was designed on purpose. I wouldn't change certain things because now I understand like true freedom from opinion from everybody in my family. Like I love them. I really fucking love them and I love my friends. But I think when you want to do something great, like not giving a fuck is like the massivest key. And that goes with everything. Like I'm not dropping to people's levels anymore about bullshit. Like I'm a good friend. I'm a good fucking partner. I'm a good fucking artist. I'm a good songwriter. I'm a good animator. I'm good at a lot of fucking things. I'm good at business. I'm good at a lot of fucking things. And I will not allow people who cannot stay on my level. Like there's no more dipping down to try and teach people shit. It's not happening. Not happening. Because people fucking then take you for granted. They start using shit against you. They start fucking just doing things that you're like, damn, like I really actually had like high hopes that you weren't going to be this same way. And you turned out to be. And yeah, like a lot of my life is pretty fucking alone. And like I'm okay with it. It gets annoying sometimes, but like where I want to go, it requires it. That's just what it is. It requires it because being around people who disrespect you or just don't fucking get it, I think is so much worse than being alone. Like people who really just like cannot fucking respect you on all levels. Like bye. Goodbye. Like fuck that. Fuck you. We're out. There's no way. And I've let a lot of people massively disrespect me along the way. Like massively. And I think, it's like fuck. Guess I had to learn some self-worth. And there's certain things and certain people come into your life to treat you certain ways so you can learn the lessons, and hopefully when they come into your life you can see it as the gift and not as the especially when they fucking rip your heart apart. Those people are the worst. You like confide in them, tell them everything you've been through, and then they still choose to put you through the same shit. And it's like you can't even be like, you can be mad and you can be bitter and all this stuff, but then at the same time, like there's a lesson in every fucking thing, right? So if you can try and like really try to see that and like be like, all right, well, what was the lesson here? Oh, lesson was boundaries and self-worth. Okay. So instead of seeing this person who's, quote unquote, really fucked me over or just hurt me emotionally or just like hasn't been a fucking good friend in any sort of fucking level, it's like those, you can choose to sit in the bitterness and sit in the like, you're an asshole thing, or you can choose to see it as a gift. And I have one friend who constantly is like, what's the gift in this? What's the gift in this? And like, I love him for that because he is very, very wise and is very, very knowledgeable. And yeah, he just like, he brings perspective, and everything is perspective, And people who hurt you are really just catalysts for growth. And unfortunately, a lot of times the people that hurt you, 9 times out of 10, I have learned in my life, don't really take responsibility for the ways that they have hurt you until they have met themselves deep enough to figure out where their own pain and trauma is. And being somebody who is massively empathetic and can see certain things about other people's trauma now, like once you've walked through your own shit, you start seeing it on everybody else, and you're like, oh my God, like, how in the fuck was I like at this level with this person for so long? And like, you know, I've done a lot of work to evolve past certain things. And it's interesting because I think a lot of people think that like because they're getting their lives together externally, like that the shit on the inside and how they feel will just go away. And it's like so not the fucking truth. Like you have to be, I think, working more so on your inside than your outside, because the more that you work on your inside, the more the external becomes like even more beautiful. But like that's why millionaires can sit in fucking houses and people can have everything and be depressed like a motherfucker or suicidal and all these things, because it's like, congratulations, the world thinks you're dope, but like you don't think you're dope. You have body image issues. You hate yourself. You wake up in the morning and tell yourself that you're not great. You wake up in the morning and tell yourself all these things that are really, really fucking evil and mean and hurtful to yourself and your own psyche. And you do it because you don't really deeply have a true sense of self-love. And I think we've seen that a lot of times over. It's like people get into these positions where they are given a lot of access and a lot of extra freedom, because that's all really money is it's freedom. And but it's freedom in a different way. Like there's many kinds of freedom, because even though you're getting these things to go do these things, you're still kind of a slave to them because you have to keep them up. But a lot of people who get into these positions to really do whatever they want, right? Doesn't mean that they're working on the issue. Like, if anything, it actually takes them further away from working on the shit that will actually probably make them joyful and not just like temporarily happy and chasing highs. And a lot of times, like when we're gaining the world, we don't have to do this work. This work is usually only done when you hit a rock bottom. And most people don't like hitting rock bottom, you know? But breakdowns are breakthroughs. And a lot of times we put so much value in Western culture just on things, because we're in a consumerist market, you know? Like, this is our culture out here. And status apparently means a lot to people here. And I don't know, it's just interesting. It's like being awake to it and not really giving a fuck about it, and then also having to be in it and navigate it is just like a fucking mind fuck. But yeah, like you learn a lot of self-worth along the way. And I know that too. Like, I'll probably listen back to this podcast and be like, bitch, you didn't even know anything about self-worth back when you were fucking saying this shit. And yeah, like I hope so. Like I hope that, like, you know, my deservedness keeps going up and my worth keeps going up inside of me, because it wasn't something that I was really taught as a kid. So something that I've had to navigate and learn for myself. And it has been a lot of mistreatment along the way. I have been mistreated by a lot of people, a lot of my exes, a lot of friends, a lot of people in the industry, and I've let a lot of things slide because of honestly, truly not having enough self-worth or deservedness. And it's interesting because it's like, really, we choose it. Like, we choose everything that's in our lives. And I just recently, you know, thank you to mushrooms, had a massive epiphany and a massive realization about everything up into this point in my life has been the way it is because I either called it upon myself or I allowed it. And that was a hard realization to have, because it was like, damn, we got to love ourselves way more than this. And I'm not just talking like in a monetary value. Like, I'm talking like internally, we have to love ourselves on such a fucking level that, like, it doesn't matter who else outside of you loves you. Like, we really call every fucking instance, every fucking like situation onto us depending on where we're at in certain levels on the inside of like how we feel. And you know, my recent ex, that's not the first time I've been in a situation where like I've been mistreated by an ex, or like there was, I even just being out of it, I'm like, oh wow, yep, no, this is a pattern here repeated itself. And like I really, you know, it's easy to like point the finger at my ex and be like, see, you're an asshole, which my ex is a fucking asshole sometimes. But the hardest, like most like fucked up mind fuck thing is I I also called it into my life to learn something. And I would really, 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 really like to, moving forward, call experiences into my life that are not going to teach me things out of pain, but teach me things out of love and fun and play and light and beauty and all of these like yeah, no more darkness, no more pain, man. Like it has been enough. It has been a lot of trauma, and like when you come from a background that there's been a lot of bullshit and a lot of things that have been really hurtful, it either makes you or it fucking breaks you. And I refuse to let it fucking break me. It has gotten very, 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 very close to breaking me. But God is bigger. And I know that's like super cliche, whatever. And like Alcoholics Anonymous always talk about that. And I really actually like the teachings of Alcoholics Anonymous and just any sort of addiction teachings, because I think that addictions are so much beyond just like substance. Like work is an addiction. Relationships, love, all kinds of things are fucking addictions. And it's really just because there's when you have traumas and stuff, like you don't know how to even kill yourself. Like you don't know how to like balance your equilibrium. So you're jumping from high to high to high, and then it's low to low to low, and then high to low, and then low to high, and like it's just, yeah, all over the place. So like balancing and knowing, you know, learning, because I do think that everything is constantly a work in progress, and I stopped really looking at destinations. And I've tried to pull myself out of, when I get to this, I'll feel better. It doesn't work like that, because you know, it's like then you get to the certain thing and then you want more, or then there's a new goal, then there's a new thing, then there's a new space that you have to be in. And sometimes it's really okay to just like, yeah, I made it to this point internally, and I think I really like this level of like love and self-love for myself, and like that I wouldn't, like, not everything always has to be fucking improved, you know? Not always. So, yeah, setting boundaries has been quite the fucking process. Learning how to set boundaries with everybody in my life has been quite the fucking process. Learning what I deserve in friendships and people has been quite the fucking process. And then also learning how to fucking cut shit off when motherfuckers cannot show up in a respectful manner. That one has been really fucking hard. But because it teeters on like, well, shit, I love this person, but they suck, and I don't know if they'll ever fucking change or do the right thing by me. So because they can't get to that point because of their own shit, I have to cut this off, and I have to fucking pull myself out and just trust that me standing in enough self-love for myself, and the more I heal myself and more I heal the image that I have of them, which I don't know if you guys have heard of the Ho'oponopono prayer, but it's really interesting. There was like this guy in Hawaii. It's a Hawaiian thing. It's I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Right? And like how you're supposed to use this prayer just in life in general is like whenever something comes up that you're like really anxious about, or like someone in your past has hurt you, or you have negative feelings just in general towards anything. If you like money, people, relationships, it's a meditation and an affirmation that you can say towards that thing to heal your relationship with it. And you never even actually have to like talk to that thing. Like you can like certain people in the past, like I've literally used the Ho'oponopono prayer to be like, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, over and over and over again, to just heal how I feel towards that person. And that's fully taking responsibility for like, yes, other people can come into your life and hurt you and they do shit to you. But really at the end of the day, you're the one that walks away with the pain. And now you are responsible for that pain. And it sucks. It's not always fair. It's not nice. It's not, it's just not cool in a lot of instances. And a lot of people, you know, the empathy card is like people only can meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. So anybody that fucking hurts you, if you can pull yourself back from it and look at it and be like, damn, you just haven't met yourself on a deep enough level yet to understand the kinds of actions that you are doing causes pain to other people. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't get that because they live in their own fucking heads so goddamn much, or in their own fucking little reality so goddamn much, that like it doesn't matter. It actually won't matter how they treat other people, and the kinds of pain that people dish out to other people. It won't matter until it has to matter. And that's with anything in life, with people, like especially Americans, like we don't give a fuck about things unless it really actually affects us in our own personal lives, which is crazy. But yeah, you know, setting boundaries and understanding your worth is a process. It's a fucking process. And I'm really proud of myself because there are things that I've been fucking scared to walk away from, and I know that I have such an inner strength that like I will walk away from any and everything that does not serve me, that does not feel good, that does not. And like the hardest one for me is always love, right? Because like there was a deprivation of it as a kid, especially for men, and moving into certain relationships, I have seen, like, I have allowed a lot of things that, like, moving forward, fuck no. Because, like, why? Like, it makes me sad to even think back that I've allowed certain things, like, certain behaviors, certain fucking ways that people have talked to me. Like, I don't want to be with a partner that cusses at me. I don't want to be with somebody who is going to like take me for granted. I don't want to be with somebody who is going to like not work on themselves internally as well, or not have a spiritual game, or like I don't want to be with somebody who's going to like dismiss me. That's a big one for me. Like I can't be with somebody who dismisses me. I fucking can't do it. And I can't be with somebody who, the way that they, like, I need somebody who's going to show up and deal with issues and have a maturity level there. And I also, like, you know, yeah, there's just, like, a lot of bullshit that I feel like I have put up with in the past. And I've allowed myself to be used in certain ways. And the only person in that realm that I can actually truly blame for that is myself. But I don't, you know, moving forward, I have been in some very painful relationships, and I'm good. Like I'm really fucking good. I want a king. I don't want somebody who's gonna be a fucking boy. And I think I've dealt with a lot of boys, which is okay, because you know it's a learning process. And again, buying things does not make you a man. Like I learned that from my dad. My dad always thought that, like, you know, because he could afford things that made him a man. And it's really not until now in his 60s that he's like, oh shit, love and compassion and like being a good human and like having relationships and these kinds of things is actually what makes me a good person and a good man. And you know, he also beats himself up all the time because he wishes he would have learned it sooner. And I think me having these lessons in my 20s is kind of fucking a blessing, because it's like, you know, I see people who are older than me, like 3 times my age, just now getting to these same lessons. And I'm like, yep, it is what it is. I'm definitely an old soul. Makes dating hard. It makes, just navigating this world a little difficult. I'm alone a lot, uh, which is okay because I know that in isolation there's a lot of growth and there's things that I need to, that God needs me to turn into. And yeah, learning to set some pretty hard boundaries with people has been challenging, but also been necessary. And I always say that, like, if you know what level that you're at internally, don't dip down to anybody. Like, just don't come down to other people's levels to try to meet them where they're at anymore. If they can't meet you where you're at, just fucking go. Just move on. Just move on, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it to try and teach people how to, like, step up. And I think that that's also a big mistake that I've made in the past, is I constantly tried to get people to step up. And, like, some people just can't do it. And, like, that's okay. Like, it's not anything against them. It's not anything, like, bad. It's just where they're at. And yeah, like, it's a waste of energy to sit here and be angry about it. Because it just is what it is. And the only thing truly at the end of the day that we can control is ourselves and our own reactions to how people treat us, how people are towards us, and what we've allowed in the past to conspire. And yeah. So if you have trouble setting boundaries, there's some tools out there to, like, kind of teach you how to do those things, and don't feel bad for setting those boundaries. Like, my ex tried to make me feel bad about he was like, you're controlling me. No, I'm not. Mm-mm. No, sir. I'm setting a boundary for what I expect and what I deserve. I don't want to be with anybody who fucking has to talk to other people or needs to sleep with other people to figure themselves out or is constantly confused. Nah, fuck that. I'm out. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, because I'm not a confused person. I'm not all over the place. I'm not. And, like, I'm proudly not. And that makes a world of a difference. Like, I know where I stand. I know who I am. And I know that I'm ever evolving in who I am. But I don't sway with the wind. I don't go with the wind. I don't go wherever the fuck everything is calling me, like, just because it looks good or just because it fucking might get me through something. Like, that's not who I am. I know that I am the universe. I know that I am everything all at once, coexisting all at once. And I think as of recently, I've really, really, really started to understand that. And that's a beautiful, beautiful realization for me to have, because then it takes the pressure off of anything that ever fucking happens to me or anything that happens in my external. It's like, I know who I fucking am. I know who I am. And a lot of the pain that I've gone through has definitely helped shift it and shape in a lot more of a deeper side to me. But yeah, like, I just don't really fuck with the bullshit. And I'm, especially this year, after everything that has conspired this year, and losing my grandfather, like, who was like my dad, like, I don't have time. I don't have time for anybody in my life anymore to treat me any sort of negative way. And that's my standard. That's my standard. You're not going to cuss at me. You're not going to yell at me. When you get frustrated about things, you're going to talk. When there's a conflict, you're going to talk. We're going to figure it out together. When you're not feeling good about something and you're all over the place, like, yeah, there's boundaries in the past that I never fucking set with people. Standards I never set with people. And then when they come back around and then you finally set these standards and you're like, this is it. This is what it is for me. And if you want to be in my life, these are my expectations for you to have entry into my life. And when you set those after not setting them before, people hate it. They hate it. It is like, wait, why are you not being how you've always been? Because I'm not the same person. That's why. I love myself a lot more. That's why. So a lot of the bullshit that I allowed you to do, not happening. Not happening. Because I love myself. And even if I have to be alone and sit in my room by myself and love myself, at least I love myself. And truly, truly love myself. Truly. Not just some like saying it so I can sit on a fucking pedestal so I can feel like I'm bigger than everybody. No. So, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. I know I rant a lot on these podcasts, but really it's also like a form of therapy for me. And if it can help somebody else, then it can help somebody else. But yeah, I try not to hold back on anything how I fucking feel on this podcast. And that's why it's called As You Are, because I'm literally giving the truth as I am in this moment right now. And hopefully, like, as I keep creating these podcasts, like, I'll look back and be like, God damn, I thought so differently back in the day. And hopefully too, like, I'll be able to see some growth. I think we're all growing. Well, some of us aren't. Some of us really are not. But yeah. This is my talk on boundaries. This is As You Are. My name is Akazi. Thank you so much for listening.